I'm not the richest, smartest, or most talented person in the world, but I succeed because I keep going and going and going. Success is usually the culmination of controlling failures. Your brain is triggered to produce. Consider the source. Don't be a fool by listening to a fool. I stopped thinking the way other people think a long time ago. You gotta think like you think. It would be great to be able to pass on to someone all of the successes, the failures, and the knowledge that one has had. To help someone avoid all the fire, pain, and anxiety would be wonderful. The fear is the fuel that we use for overachievement. If I wasn't afraid at times, I wouldn't work as hard. Life is more than sunglasses and hit movies. Reality, that's the main event. If you don't have a mountain, build one and then climb it. And after you climb it, build another one, otherwise you start to flatline your life. Once in one's life, for one mortal moment, one must make a grab for immortality. If not, one has not lived. Life is an opponent that never stops punching, so you better never stop punching back. There's a natural law of karma that vindictive people who go out of their way to hurt others will end up broke and alone. We're all expendable. We think the world's going to stop when a pope dies or a king. And then life goes on. You are what you leave behind. Usually whenever you're scared of something, do it. If you're not afraid of it, don't do it. If you're willing to take the humiliation of sticking your head above the crowd, maybe it's, the pleasure will be worth the pain. You've got to show your soul, otherwise, or just a piece of equipment. Love is totally about loyalty. People fade, looks fade, but loyalty never fades. Dreams cost nothing. They are free. The hard part is just keeping them going. Going on one more round when you don't think you can, that's what makes all the difference in your life. Every champion was once a contender that refused to give up. Time takes everybody out. Time is undefeated. Usually whenever you're scared of something, do it. If you're not afraid of it, don't do it. Fighters fight. If I can change and you can change, everybody can change. To survive a war, you gotta become war. Live for nothing or die for something. When life hits you pretty hard, you can go into a dark corner. If bad decorating was a hanging offense, there'd be bodies hanging from every tree. When you're scared, when you're hanging on, When life is hurting you, then you're going to see what you're really made of. If you express yourself too much, you're considered weak. When boxers are in the ring, they're simple. It's when the fight is over, that's when the other fight, the real fight, begins. That's the problem. You have to be really loyal to the people that supported you when you were coming up. You know you've been around when they start to remake your own movies when you're still alive. Clothing is the first step to building a character. All young men want to prove themselves. If you look back at life, I bet you will regret about 80% of your actions. But life consists of all mistakes. Action is always seen as the bottom rung of thespian endeavor. That's just the way it is. I take rejection as someone blowing a bugle in my ear to wake me up and get going, rather than retreat. I keep trying to tell people. I said, at 40, 45, you're at that crossroads. You really are there. And it's not like you can have gain without pain, but this is it. The days are like when I wrote this whole thing about, in the beginning of my first magazine. I said, if you live to be 75 years old, that's 3,900 weekends. That's it. We do two things in life. We race the clock and everything is a struggle. One way or not, it's a metaphorical battle all of the time. I have great expectations for the future because the past was highly overrated. Don't be gullible. Use life before it uses you. Understand there are no free lunches, and for every action you take, there's a reaction. I believe there's an inner power that makes winners losers. And the winners are the ones who really listen to the truth of their hearts. Some people maybe try to justify their laziness. You take out what you put in, and the more I go to church and the more I turn myself over to the process of believing in Jesus and to listening to His word and have Him guide my hand, I feel the pressures of me. For every guy, there is an opportunity to be a lot better than he thought he could be. We can't all be the star of the team, but we can be a star in our life. That's where you set your goal. When you are young, you often think that the world spins around you. You think you can do anything, can take the world on your shoulders. At the end of the day, Rocky is a love story, and he could never have reached the final bell without Adrian.